Hi, welcome to Polyphonic Press. I'm Jeremy Boyd, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new album by Babyshambles, entitled Prequel to the Sequel. Here we go. So Babyshambles are a British rock band formed in London in 2003 after the dissolution of Pete Doherty's band, The Libertines. They released their debut album in 2005, which was produced by Mick of The Clash. And this is their third album, and it's their first since 2007, and it's called Prequel to the Sequel. And this album starts off with the song Fireman, which is a very fast-paced kind of punk rock song. It starts the album off with a huge amount of energy and really lifts everything up. It's a pretty short song and only clocks in at about a minute 40, but it's really short and punchy and really kind of kicks everything in gear. It really sounds like something from late 70s, early 80s punk rock. Really, the vocals kind of sound like Johnny Rotten. I think it really works well to put you in a certain kind of mood for the rest of the record. You don't really know where the other songs are going to go, but you're really curious to find out. The first single from the album is the song Nothing Comes to Nothing, and it's a very kind of laid-back 60s kind of pop song. It's a really well put together song. It's got a lot of jangly guitars and a pretty consistent beat, and the production really feels like something from like 1965 or something like that. I think it's a pretty strong choice for the single because it's pretty catchy and I can see it getting a lot of radio airplay. The one thing I felt a little off about this song is the vocal performance. It's not necessarily a bad performance, but I don't think it's the right performance for this song. The vocals on this song would probably better suit a harder rock song with a lot of loud guitars. So this doesn't, the vocals don't really fit into this kind of 60s easygoing pop sound. I think if I were producing this album, I would have tried to get a different vocal performance, something a little more appropriate for this song. The song Fall From Grace takes on a somewhat more country kind of tone. With the shuffle of the drums and the sound of the guitar, it really kind of sounds like something that Graham Parsons would do. With the chord progression and the guitar playing this melody underneath it, it sounds very similar to the song I Want You by Bob Dylan from the Blonde on Blonde record. I'm not really sure if that was a conscious choice to write a song similar to that or if it's just coincidence, but either way, I think this song really does well to kind of paint a picture in that sort of vein of folk, country kind of era. The song just kind of has an easy way about it, and it's very laid back, puts you in a really good mood. The title song, Sequel to the Prequel, starts off with a very lo-fi kind of old scratchy record kind of sound, but the high fidelity sound kind of kicks in and really kind of takes over. With the chord progression and the way the rhythm swings, it really kind of sounds like a pop song from the 50s, which is kind of interesting given the context of this album. It's a pretty catchy tune, and I like that it's a throwback to another era. A lot of people tend to be influenced by the 60s, and no one really ever pays attention to the 50s, or at least not much. So it was interesting to hear a song that lives in that kind of era, and I think it's time to kind of explore that era a little bit. The 60s have kind of become overdone, and I think it's interesting to hear different styles from different decades and things like that. As the song ends, it kind of goes back to that lo-fi scratchy sound, kind of working to bookend the song, and I think this is just a really well put together piece. The song Put Me in a Hospital is another country kind of inspired song. The use of mandolins and fiddles really kind of give it that rural sound. It's not a blatant country song, it still kind of has one foot in Britpop, so it's interesting to hear those two kind of genres working well together. I'm not really sure if that's ever been done before, but it's kind of an interesting take. And this is a really good example of two very different genres coming together to work and create something really interesting. The album ends with the song Minefield, which is a very slow kind of ballad song, although it does pick up as the song progresses. It starts off with just the bass and drums and the guitar playing this really great melody with a lot of distortion on it, but it's playing in the context of a slow song, which is a really great technique for guitar players, is to use a lot of distortion on a slow song. It really kind of creates this counterpart to what's going on. As I said, it kind of picks up and slows down as the song progresses. The chorus is very intense and the verses are a little more laid back, so it has a lot of dynamics going on. One thing I really like about this song is the guitar work. It's a great display of the talent of the guitar player, and I think he really shines on this song. I think this song ends the album really well, kind of really wraps everything up, and I think it's a good choice as the closing track. The production on this album is pretty well done. It's pretty straightforward, which is pretty appropriate for these kinds of songs. I like this album album, but there were a couple things I would change here or there. Mainly the vocal performance on some of the songs weren't as strong as they could have been. But overall, I think it's a pretty strong effort, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So anyway, that's what I thought about the album. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you'd like to suggest an album for me to review, please leave that in the comments as well. Be sure to subscribe so you know when I post a new video. You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook, and that's about it. Take it easy.